Welcome back to Shadowrun Hong Kong. So last time, well, really just did a whole bunch of talking. Um, Met Crafty Zhu, met a bunch of people. The vendors here in Hoi are now open to me. I bought some new magic spells and some new gear, as you can see. This shaman outfit. Um, if you're wondering why the game kind of scrolls down every time I start, it's because I press Control R to start simple screen recorder to start recording the video, and for whatever reason pressing that makes the game scroll in this direction. I don't know. Either way, another thing I did in between from last recording is I noticed before that, I mean, the backgrounds are beautiful, but the characters, especially when you zoomed in, were kind of aliased. So I went into Nvidia settings and I tried forcing anti-aliasing and some anisotropic filtering onto the game. See if it'll make it look better. Looks pretty good right here, but I'll need to look in some other areas, see if it helps out or if it really doesn't make any difference. I'll have to see next time I'm with Gobbet. Gobbet is the one I noticed the most on. Like her head against the background, like you could really see some hardcore jaggies. So next time I have her, I'll zoom in and see if the forced anti-aliasing did anything to help smooth out those edges. Would be nice if the game had that in there. I'm assuming maybe they have some form of anti-aliasing in under post-process, but who the hell knows what post-process means? That could mean any number of things. There's the mission computer. Are any of the crew here? So I get this Gobbet and Is here. Doesn't look like Duncan's here. There's my stash. There's nothing there for me to get. Oh, there's Duncan. Whose cabin appears to be the only clean spot on the boat hull. His equipment is neatly laid out on his bedding, grouped by type, or arranged just so. He's cleaning his weapon with meticulous care. Well, that's that, I guess. We're runners now. I forgot to ask about benefits. Think we get medical and dental care? Yeah, I'm gonna try to break the ice with some humor. He stops for a moment, stares at the weapon in his hand. Damn. I don't think we took the brochure. We'll have to ask for it next time we have an audience with our Chinese syndicate crime lord. He looks down at the barrel of his gun, blows into it. You look like you want to talk about something. What's the topic? I can't get that dream that I had out of my head. You said you had one too, right? Yeah. Yours sounded like a nasty one. I don't remember much about mine. I was pretty creeped out by our run into the walled city. Between that and all the drama, I'd be surprised if I didn't have a nightmare. He shrugs. Did it feel any different from other nightmares you've had? He shakes. He takes his time, thinks about his answer a bit before he responds. You know how sometimes you'll be mad at a friend in a dream and then wake up still mad at him? Then you treat him like he did something wrong when you see him. It kind of feels like that to me. Like I dreamed I was swimming toward a bright light, and when I woke up, I was just out of breath from the effort. Was the walled city in your dream? Of course the walled city was in my dream. It was a nightmare, wasn't it? Gives you a lopsided grin. Was it in your dream too? Sure looked like it. I'm not sure I'm surprised. The walled city is more than just another slum and a sprawl. Hell, it is a sprawl. Of course we dreamed about it. The feeling I had there stayed with me. It felt thick, heavy. And I got this overwhelming feeling of, I don't know, wretchedness, I guess? What do you remember about yours? Just little snatches of things. He puts his hands on his hips and concentrates. The walled city was breathing, and it had teeth everywhere. And there was a tunnel that was so bright that I had to shut my eyes, and Raymond was there. He was either kneeling or lying down. I can't remember which, but he was crying. That's what made me wake up. The sound of my father crying. Alright, so I'll talk to him later. Alright, so... Duncan doesn't look very alias. That's pretty good. Let's go upstairs. There's Iz. There's Gobbit. Yeah, I think the forced anti-aliasing helped. Could just be placebo effect, I suppose. Either way, anyway, whatever. Gobbit's nest is pretty much what you'd expect. Piles of clothes on the ground. An overflowing garbage bin surrounded by stacks of instant noodle packets and towers of tinned oysters. Avant-garde posters haphazardly thumbtacked to the walls, overlapping in some places and peeling in others. It feels like an art school dorm room. Gobbit reclines in a corner, cradling a bowl of soup in her hands. At her feet, a cast iron pot simmers away on an electric hot plate. The contents are typical Hong Kong comfort food. Chicken-style soya broth, elbow macaroni, tinned ham, and a heaping scoop of egg-flavored mycoprotein. As you wind your way through the piles of dirty laundry, Gobbit slowly lifts her head from her bowl to acknowledge you. Hey, Seattle. She chews on her words along with a mouthful of cheap pasta. The corner of her mouth curls up into a half smile. How's tricks? My entire life just got erased and the cops want me dead. I'm doing great, you? Oh, everything's just ducky over here. My friends are dead. I'm on my boss's shit list because of it, and I can't even eat a bowl of soup in peace. She skims an oily slab of faux ham off the top of her soup and pops it in her mouth. Chewing thoughtfully, she looks back up at you with a smile. So it's all good, Seattle. I'm happy as a clam, just like you are. Now, you want to tell me what you're doing in my bedroom? I'm assuming you're not here to admire the view. How'd you decide on the name Gobbit, anyway? I didn't. She pops a noodle into her mouth and chews. My mom did. So, Gobbit is your given name? Your mother named you after a wad of meat? She shrugs. Yeah, sure. I don't think she knew what it meant. She just thought it sounded pretty. You should get used to that, by the way. People are here in Hong Kong like to stand out, and choosing unique names is one of the ways that they do it. Have you had any nightmares recently? Like, bad ones? Her jaw stops working mid-chew. Slowly she nods. Yeah, I have. We all have. Everyone in town. Me too. I just had a horrible nightmare. Let me guess, you saw the walled city and a black whirlpool and teeth, thousands and thousands of teeth? She holds up a hand. You don't need to answer. I already know that I'm right because I just had the same dream. Creepy. I know. I don't know about the thousands and thousands of teeth, but yeah. Her voice goes quiet. The dreams are coming from inside the walled city. I'm sure of it. All the negative energy pent up in there. All of that pain and anger and poisonous ki. It's leaking out. And while we slept, it's getting to us. You think that this is a magical phenomenon then? Yeah, I think it is. Want my personal opinion? The walled city is cursed. Deep down, I think that everybody knows it, and we live in its shadow. That's bound to mess with your head, you know? And it is. But they're just dreams. It's not like they can hurt us, right? Who says that they can't? She tries on a smile, fails, does her best to laugh it off. Don't worry, Seattle. We're fine here, but let's talk about something else, huh? I don't like thinking about the walled city very much. Too many old fears and bad feelings. If you're up to talking about it, I wanted to go over to ambush back on the docks with you. Yeah. She nods slowly, frowning. Yeah, I figured you would. That was a hell of a thing, right? You could say that. It was fucking awful. Nightjar and Gutshot were two of the strongest men I've ever known. Quality Shadowrunners, both of them. I've watched those two fight through situations that'll kill anyone and come out on top. How do they go out? She mimes holding a rifle, makes a show of peering down the scope. Bang, bang, dead, dead. No blaze of glory, no final speech, just extinguished. Smash like bugs. We would have gone the same way if you hadn't gotten us out of there. She absentmindedly raises her bowl to her shoulder. A rat crawls over the slope of her back and lowers its head to lap at the broth. It was more a rat than me. She's the one who grabbed me by the gut and led us to the sewer entrance. All I did was follow. I'd like to learn more about Rat. What kind of totem is she? She slurps thoughtfully at her soup. A clever one. She's gotten me out of more trouble than I care to mention. Gotten me into a fair amount of it too. But I can always count on her to lead me out of hot water when I need her to. I can feel it in my belly, you know? Sort of a tugging sensation. I've long since learned to follow it. I wasn't aware that totems took such direct control of their shaman. Usually they don't. Me and Rat, we have a sort of a special bond. She takes care of me, and I've always done my best to take care of her. Another pair of beady eyes blinks up at you from Gobbet's hip. A second rat scurries up her shoulder to join the first. And to pamper her earthly children, like these two. Meet Madness and Folly. Interesting choice of names. I like the way they sound. Madness and Folly. That has a nice ring to it, right? She brushes her finger across the white rat's mottled coat. My girls remind me not to take myself too seriously. I wouldn't trust Folly, though. She bites. How did you come across Madness and Folly? She raises an eyebrow. I looked outside. I mean, they're rats. Hong Kong isn't experiencing a rodent shortage or anything. So you just picked them up off the street? Yep. Think of them as rescue vermin. You could probably do the same if you wanted to. It's easy. Just walk into any alleyway in Kowloon after sundown and stick your hand in the first dumpster or storm drain that you come across. Keep fishing around until you touch fur. I might just have to try that. You probably shouldn't. She continues to brush Folly's coat. The creature chirps happily at her touch. Odds are about 50-50 that you'll get your hand chewed off. I'd probably feel bad about that. You seem pretty comfortable with all this. Been running the shadows for a while? She dips her chin. Long time. Started when I was just a kid. Yeah, I gather you've seen a lot of action then. She rolls her shoulders. Plenty. Been in more firefights than I can count. You're pretty new at this. You and Duncan both. It shows. She takes a moment to study you. Slowly, her mouth tilts into a smirk. What you need is a wizened mentor. An experienced runner from whose experience you can benefit. I'm thinking that might as well be me. Sure, why not? I could use the advice, and I don't see Isabel volunteering for the job anytime soon. You're in? Good. Starting the next time you visit, I'm going to teach you a thing about being a Shadowrun. She stifles a yawn. You're going to benefit from my bountiful experience. Wait and see. I'm looking forward to it. Gobbet stretches, stifles a yawn. Her rats scurry from her shoulders down to her hips. She taps the simmering pot on the floor with her boot. The soup inside has reduced down into a thick, viscous gravy. You know, Seattle, this has been a nice chat and all, but it's getting late, and I still have the rest of the hot pot to power through. So if I want this to get awkward, she glances toward the door. Say no more. I'm out of your hair. Take it easy, Gobbet. Yeah, you too. Isabel's cabin is an exercise in controlled chaos. Her living space is utterly dominated by an enormous jury-rigged computer. Serpentine cables snake from component to component, tying dozens of obsolete terminals and cyber decks together in a single colossal machine. This is my personal machine. If you're looking for your mission computer, it's downstairs. She doesn't bother looking up. You can see that she's elbow deep in guts of an obsolete cyberdeck. One of a half dozen that have been wired into her computer with braided cables. Actually, I was hoping to talk to you. Got a second? There's a long pause, then she chirps out a response. We're talking now, aren't we? I guess so, yeah. Can I ask you a few questions? She leans in, scrutinizing the innards of an obsolete deck. Go ahead, I'm not stopping you. Have you been having weird dreams recently? Body goes still. Yes, I think that everybody has. Me too, and Gobbit. We both had the same nightmare. I know. It happens more often than you think. She tilts her head in the direction of the walled city. This kind of mass psychosis was common where I grew up. Everybody got it. Mass psychosis seems more like a magical phenomenon to me. Her voice quickens. I don't really know what it is, and I don't think I want to. I just want to work on my computer in peace. It's quite a machine you're working on. Care to tell me about it? She's my pet project. I call her the Octopus. She waves a hand at the tangle of thick power cables that radiate out from the machine's central core. You might be able to guess why. Impressive work. How well does it perform? She's a monster. She yanks a fried chip from the deck's motherboard and neatly sets it aside, then fumbles in a nearby bin for a replacement. An absolute beast. What is this thing made of? Whatever I could find. Busted terminals, obsolete cyber decks, aftermarket memory from Maximum Law's dumpster. Scavengers would kill for this stuff in the walled city, but out here, people throw it away. She chuckles to herself as she eases a card into an empty expansion slot. Most deckers are early adopters. They buy whatever's newest, shell out a huge amount of new yen in hopes of riding the bleeding edge. Stupid. It's an arms race. Deckers do what they have to do. They do what's easy. Throw money at the problem. Amateurs. For a quarter the price of that whiz new deck, I can have 5 of the last year's model, and after I've finished daisy chaining them together, the machine that I built will run circles around your store-bought wonder. Yeah, and you'll need a flatbed truck to carry it. Did we look like we're hurting for space to you? She rummages in a bin to her left and pulls out a stick of solid-state memory. It disappears into the deck that she's working on. I've got a whole boat to work with, your cabin included, if I told Gobbit I needed it. Be my guest, I wouldn't mind. Long pause. Well, I was joking, but if you're really okay with it, I might someday. We'll see. Can we talk about the ambush at Victoria Harbor? I'd rather not. I lost friends there. Sorry, didn't mean to pry. You don't have to apologize. Just change the subject. She returns her attention to the octopus, turning her back to you. Any thoughts about the last run? Isabel shivers, looking away from you. I'm still mad at you for making me go back there. I'd say it hasn't changed, but it seems like it has. For the worse. It's just like I remembered it, but darker, meaner. The perfect place for a thug like Strangler Bao and his goons. Was that really a ghost we set on Bao and his men? I don't really believe in ghosts, but I'm still afraid of them. If it was a ghost, they got what they deserved. If not, I'm sure they earned a world of hurt some other way. Be careful of kindly. Even though she said she counted on you to screw the job up, that's not a good thing. That means she was counting on you to be unreliable and disposable. If you screw up a bigger job, once she's counting on going by the numbers, she might decide to dispose of all of us. For good. Alright, I'll leave her alone. Let's get a mission started. Can I go down there? Down the hatch? I want to talk to the neighbor. Ractor. It's oppressively hot down here, and the air is full of synthetic odors that grab you by the sinuses and refuse to let go. You smell engine grease and melting plastic, ionized air, and lead solder. A quick scan of the room tells you why. The downstairs tenant has converted the space into a machine shop. Metal fabrication tools and duroplastic extruders line the walls, and a pair of heavy industrial manipulators hang from the ceiling. A man in a black trench coat stands with his back to you, staring at a monitor mounted above a study workbench. He addresses you without turning. "Ah, I was wondering when I'd meet the new neighbor." His voice is pleasant, cultured. There's a hint of a Russian accent there, but it's buried under layers of nuance. "Please, stay where you are. I'll be with you just a moment, and unless you fancy an unplanned trip to Chrome Alley, don't touch anything. There are all manner of tools in here that could take your hand clean off." "Take your time, I won't touch anything." "Ah, you're very kind. Thank you." The feed on the monitor looks like some sort of design software. You can see what appears to be a slim, spidey appendage in an orthographic and perspective views. "Very good, yes. That's coming along nicely. Very nicely indeed." He turns towards you, smiling, and for the first time you could see his face. He has broadly handsome Slavic features and a chiseled jaw. His eyes are like flecks of ice. "So sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Rubik. It's no problem, don't worry about it." "You're too kind. Now tell me, what can I do for you?" His voice trails off as a flash of motion catches his eye. I think I'm doing more Transylvania vampire than Russian. I'm sorry, that's the voice you get. With alarming speed, a sinister-looking drone scuttles out from under the work table. Its movements are surprisingly agile and fluid. The machine rears back menacingly, spreading its forelegs in a clear sign of aggression. The man's smile tilts and his tone goes apologetic. "Please, don't mind the drone. He can be territorial, but so long as you remain civil, he will not bite." He extends a hand. Simultaneously, the drone relaxes into a neutral position, lowering its killing legs. "Rakta, my mechanical counterpart here is called Koshche." "A pleasure." His hand is rough and abnormally warm to the touch. He shakes your hand with a solid grip. "I am very pleased to meet you, my friend. In a community such as Hioi, it is important to be on good terms with one's neighbors." "Agreed. Speaking of which, I'd like to ask you some questions if you have the time." He glances at the bracer on his forearm. A technical display winks to life, then gutters out. "Very well. This morning's casting should still be cooling for a few minutes yet. That's time enough for talk." "Got some interesting machinery in here. Not the kind that you typically see outside of a corporate setting." He smiles. "The same could be said of many in Hioi, I'm sure. This is a smuggler's den, is it not? Our entire economy is based on people having things that they shouldn't. Is there a particular device that interests you out of curiosity?" "The robotic arms that you got over there, they look like something taken from an automotive assembly plant." He smiles, flashes brilliantly in the light. "Good guess. That's precisely what they are. They fell off a boat, you might say. They weren't cheap, but I acquired them and had them mounted on the walls of my shop. I simply had to have them. The return on the investment has been dramatic, yes. They're cruder by far than the Waldo devices that I use in my professional life, but they still do the job, and they are mine." He gazes lovingly at the industrial arms, still smiling. "They have increased my fabrication capabilities nearly tenfold, and that, to me, is worth any price." "Are you Russian? I thought I caught a hint of an accent there." He nods. "You have a good ear. I am impressed. Yes, I grew up in Nizhny Novgorod. Went to school there, started my career there in the industrial sector. Fairly common story, I am sure. But I have also traveled a great deal, and in so doing I have absorbed a number of other languages and dialects. How many languages do you speak? Counting Russian and Cantonese? 15. He shrugs apologetically. It shames me to admit that I'm only literate in 12, however. That's still impressive. Perhaps when compared to the common man, but I've known a great many polyglots who can and do put me to shame. He gives you another half shrug, and Koschei mirrors the gesture. Arabic has been a particular bugbear of mine. The unfamiliar characters and lack of vowels make it damn tricky to get a handle on, but I suppose that all men have their limits. When you said this morning's casting, what did you mean? Exactly what I said. A casting that I made out of a new locomotive assembly for Koschei. He gestures at the display above the work table. A biomimetic design, as you can see. This one is inspired by the walking legs of a decapod, crustacean, the mangrove crab, to be specific. That's fascinating. And will this new leg assembly make your drone more effective? That remains to be seen, but there is more to life than combat effectiveness, is there not? By fabricating new components for Koschei, I unlock options, different ways of being. Even the failures, and there have been many, have value in this context. How did you learn to do all this? More training and experience than I care to mention. He offers you a wry smile. Drone architecture was once my profession, you see. Now it's more of a calling, one that I'm free to pursue, now that I've freed myself from the shackles of corporate servitude. Koschei is an interesting name for a drone. Yes, I suppose that it is. Not many riggers would name their most prized possession after a villain from a fairy tale, and not to my heritage, I suppose. Yes, I know the story you're talking about. His smile widens. Oh? How marvelous. I hadn't thought to meet anyone versed in the Russian classics here in Hioi. I've studied. If memory serves, Koschei the Deathless was an immortal villain and a kidnapper of women. He nods. Indeed, he was those things, but it was not Koschei's misdeeds that drew me to the name. I suppose that was the notion of immortality through cleverness that resonated with me. There was something to be learned from that, I was sure. And so, when it came to name my beloved creation, his was the first name that came to mind. And is your drone deathless, like its namesake? In a matter of speaking, I suppose that he is. I have redundant copies of every piece of his architecture, and his core programming is stored on disk in a secret location. Should he ever suffer critical damage, I can easily bring him back. I had the plan once to automate the self-repair process. I must confess it was really quite ingenious, but alas, my research was lost. One day I will reclaim it, and Koschei will become as deathless as the stories claim, but it will not be today. Alright, I'll leave him alone for now. Very well, come back any time. It is pleasant to have someone to talk to. What's over here? It's his sleeping quarters. Alright, I'll leave that alone. Alright. Now we'll start the mission. Your workstation and mission computer. The cool blue tones of the workstation's main menu fill the screen. A blinking message in the upper right corner notifies you that you have 6 unread messages. Okay. Welcome to Hioi. From Kindly Chang. Rubik, on behalf of your friends at the Hioi Chamber of Commerce and the Swift Winds Mahjong Parlor, I welcome you to the community of Hioi and to our new business venture. I have already lined up 3 jobs for you. The details of each are contained in a separate computer message. Remember to check your messages as often, as I will update you with new opportunities as they occur. Auntie C. Auntie, you shouldn't have. From Isabel. Hey Rubik, I've set up a mission computer to automatically collect and collate news reports, information and media that might be of interest to you. Some of the keywords I've got it trolling for are things like Raymond, Duncan, Walled City, etc. I've also patched in a permanent link up to the Hong Kong shard of the Shadowlands BBS. It's a great place to connect with other runners, sell pay data, get news from the street, and so on. Don't be shy about taking a look. From Bao, Jian Jun. I have been instructed to inform you of the various suppliers present in Hioi. Auntie Cheng has cultivated a commercial district of well-stocked and trustworthy vendors. Whoever you choose to do business with, you will be in good hands. Ermine Cafe is a Club 88, an excellent source for acquiring additional weapons, should you require any. So I can go inside the club now. If you are in need of any magical supplies, go to the parlor of 5 Phases. If you desire training in the path of the adept, seek out Spider Shen. She can help you as well as supply you with any close-quarter weapons that you might desire. Crow Malley can supply you with cybernetic enhancements and medical supplies. The proprietor, 10-armed Ambrose, is a cyber surgeon of some repute. Lost Techno Palace is a Wampawan-run supplier of the local decking community. The place is hard to miss. Just look for a sign glowing in the sky. If you need drones, Reliable Matthews Robot Bazaar is your best bet. And I pity you. Best of luck in the shadows. As fresh meat, you are likely to meet it. Strangler Bound. Alright, so here's my mission. Serial killer. I've got a problem, Rubik, and you're going to help me solve it. I do a lot of business with the Wampawans. If you're not familiar with them, I'll forgive you. You're an outsider after all. The Wampawans are a tribe of techno-fetishists and deckers who have taken up residence in the Wampawan Garden area of Hong Kong. They make and trade high-tech goods to people from all over the world. A lot of Nuyen pass through their pasty little fingers, and I make a lot of money brokering deals between them and smugglers here in Hioi. I've hit a snag, though. The Wampawan elders, their councils of leaders, are being eliminated by a serial killer. They've asked me to dispatch someone to get to the bottom of it and stop the killings, and they're not taking their goods through my turf until I do. So you're going to be my proxy dealer. I don't care how you do it, but I need those murderers stopped. The Wampawans have delegates here in Hioi by the name of Maximum Law. Speak with him if you wish to know about Wampawa. He's got a big mouth, but he knows very little of importance. Don't expect much from that half-empty bottle of vinegar. You get your ass down to Wampawa Garden and talk to the elders. Lie, cheat, and steal if you have to, so long as they're convinced that there won't be any more murders. I want my cup back, and I want it soon. Okay. Welcome to the Shadows, Rubik. I've received a request from an archaeologist named Mr. Drake. He's interested in liberating certain artifacts from beneath a manor house located in Tai Po. I've attached a copy of the video message that he sent me. The screen flickers a few times and the email is replaced with the face of a stern-looking orc. Hello, Madam Chang. I've heard that you're a woman who knows how to get things done, especially with regards to things that aren't legal in the strictest sense. That's exactly the kind of help I'm looking for. Recently, a rich investor by the name of Liu Hua decided to expand his manor house onto the outskirts of Tai Po. Too much money, not enough space for fancy parties. He hit a snag with local government officials. However, they suspected the land his estate was built on may have pre-modern archaeological artifacts buried beneath it, all of them dating from the Song dynasty. Consequently, I was contracted by an archaeologist to oversee the excavation and ensure everything was properly recorded and cataloged. Sure enough, we were only a few days into the excavations when we discovered a series of tombs lying beneath the site. The scope of the tombs was far beyond anything Liu or I had expected. Several acres of catacombs at least, and untouched relics throughout. What's more, they're certainly older than the Song dynasty. They may even be from the previous cycle of magic. Before I could make any reports to the Free Enterprise Zone authorities, however, Liu called in his allies in a Tantian Incorporated. Liu sold the entire site to Tantian, who then leased it back to him. Because Tantian is considered to have extraterritoriality in Hong Kong, local authorities were powerless to stop Liu from looting the tombs. He immediately began building a museum, if you can call it that, on top of the site. He had the gall to calls museum the Emperor's Tomb. Can you believe that? The odds of there being an actual emperor buried there are basically nil. But he doesn't care. Anything to sell a few tickets. Leo has continued his excavations using Tantian contractors to expand the dig. What he didn't know is that I bugged his comlink before he fired me. Based on what I've heard, something strange is going on in the lower levels. Workers have been disappearing, only to be found dead several days later. Whatever is down there is too dangerous to be left in Liu's hands. Liu must have found my data line tapped though. I've stopped receiving any information 3 days ago. The last thing I heard him talking about were a pair of ancient texts that workers have discovered. Then he issued an order that further excavation should be halted until he can secure the subterranean areas. I'm betting those texts are the cause of whatever's killing the workers. I have quite a bit of experience with those kinds of dangerous excavations, but an operation of this scale is beyond me. I need a team that's tough enough to get in and survive, aren't afraid of making a mess, and who can get out with the books and whatever else they can carry. Beyond the 2 texts, I'm willing to pay well for whatever other artifacts your team can liberate. The more valuable, the better. Don't worry, they'll be going to actual museums, not some rich playboy's mansion. I've got a second program in place that'll suppress Liu's security system. The team will have to be careful though. There are only so many alarms I can suppress. Go beyond that number and I'll scrub the mission. I've included a catalog of likely items to help the team appraise the most valuable ones. They don't need to be subtle. In fact, I prefer they make it look like a common robbery. Tell them to smash and grab what they can. Let me know when you find a suitable group of Shadowrunners. There you have it, a nice simple robbery. Do you think you can handle something that basic, dear? I have faith in you. Let me know when you're ready to proceed. I'll contact Mr. Drake when you're on your way. Genomantic sabotage. Geomancy is big business in the free enterprise zone. Here in Hong Kong, Feng Shui isn't just the act of rearranging your kitchen to make things look pretty. The fortunes of empires rise and fall with the ebb and flow of qi, and sometimes that flow needs a helping hand. Wu Jing Incorporated are the preeminent practitioners of large-scale qi manipulations here in the free enterprise zone. They've gone to great lengths to channel qi from all over Hong Kong into their headquarters, an enormous monstrosity they call the Wu Jing Sky Tower. There, it is focused and transformed into good fortune through the building, geomantically attuned architecture, and interior decoration. Our client believes that it's time for Wu Jing's good luck to run out. You are to infiltrate the Sky Tower and disrupt the flow of qi throughout the building, but you are to do so in 2 distinct fashions. Firstly, you must disrupt the feng shui of the offices by subtly altering the environments of that level. This will consist of minor adjustments of desks, spilled water, and other small activities that are unlikely to be noticed. Ordinarily, even subtle disturbances of this nature will be noticed. This is why the client wishes you to make a much louder demonstrations on the rooftop garden. The garden is to be ransacked, utterly destroyed, set fire to things, uprooted trees, that kind of thing. Our client has also specified that he would like you to destroy the large Buddhist statue in the garden, smash the thing to bits and leave them scattered across the rooftop. This level of destruction will keep Wu Jing's geomancers busy long enough that the more subtle disruptions below will take effect. In addition, it will send the kind of message that our client would like Wu Jing to hear. I have the utmost faith in your ability to cause destruction. The more disruption you can cause on both levels of the Sky Tower, the happier the client will be. Given your own skills with magic, you should have an easy time identifying the most effective ways to disrupt the key of the building. Shadowrun's connection established successfully. Rappelling down the side of an unnamed luxury hotel in a ball gown on Monday night, admiring the view from the 28th floor, urinals during a private soiree for an unnamed corporation that I was infiltrating. Our eyes met briefly before you dropped out of sight. Your long dark hair had come loose from your chignon, framing you beautifully. Flushed face. I will never forget it. You were carrying a duffel bag bulging with stolen prototype weaponry. Well, I filched the intel that goes with it. Can we connect? Blackjack. Very funny, Blackjack. I'm sorry the job went sideways. I got trapped and had only one way out. Red Queen. We were supposed to have each other's backs. Just wait till you hear the way out that I had to take, Blackjack. We gotta lay low now, and why are we posting about this on public message board? Been hearing some buzz about some mainlander terrorists that showed up in Victoria Harbor and had a shootout with HKPF the other day. Anyone heard anything on that? Don't Jen. Ming Pao said that there were 4 of them that got away. 3 orcs and a dwarf. A troll and an elf and a human were all killed on the scene. Word is that there's some kind of terrorist cell and they're here to strike at the Executive Council, Warfrat. Looks like there's a 50,000 Nuyen reward for any information leading to their capture. The HKPF seems pretty nervous about letting these bastards walk freely around the streets. Do you think they'd actually pay out to someone like us? Not a chance. You walk in there to claim the reward, you're getting thrown in a hole with them. The HKPF doesn't keep promises to the sinless. Couldn't hurt to try. Why'd you have to be such a downer? Because I know the police. They're all dirty. They're only in it to protect their paychecks, and they don't give a damn about anybody else. Believe me, I'm just looking out for your best interests. Like you and your triad look out for my brother? You know he's still paying for his reconstructive surgery, you bastard. If a man wants to keep his teeth, he should pay what he owes rather than pull a gun on me. Simple as that. Poetry Slam. Ladies and gentlemen, poets and Shadowrunners, welcome to the first annual Shadowlands Poetry Slam. There are no rules and there are no prizes, except bragging rights. With no further ado, let the versification begin. How long do you think we can keep this going before the trolls show up or a sysadmin shuts us down? Why would they shut us down? It's a free board. We can be poetic if we want to. Just trust me, it happens. For some reason, these things always draw out the worst sort of attention. Are you going to give us a poem, or are you going to stand around complaining about why you can't? Alright, I've got one. Wait for it. Synth muscles, smart links, neural boosters, cyber limbs, all fall to grenades. A little music on the transience of life in the shadows. Very nice, sir. When the long shadows fall in Hong Kong, neon lights pierce the coming light. Tread with me the velvet blackness, let no lamp shine on our deeds. That one's entitled Our Hour. That might just have been the most pompous thing I've ever read. Try this on for size. Lasers that are red, shadows that are black. With Matt on the street, you'd best watch your back. My poem wasn't pompous, you uncultivated rube. It was an homage to Wang Wei, the famous Tang Dynasty master of the Zhuzhu form of poetry. It's traditional, unlike that ridiculous limerick that you posted. Now, I didn't think you have to take the word slam quite so literally. Hey, you people know the rules. Poetry slams have been out of bounds on this BBS since the Laughing Man debacle of 55. If you want to sling your fancy words, do it on a different forum. I'm shutting this thread down. Sissa. Told you. Walled City. I've got a courier job next week that's supposed to take me into the Walled City. I'm from Kuala Lumpur and I've never been to Hong Kong, but I hear that the place is dangerous as hell. Is there anything I should know? Oh, you've got nothing to worry about. It's just a low-cost housing development full of hard-working people. Here, take a look at this news report. A short trid clip begins to play. This is Sunny Shang with the Horizon News. On today's Sunny Side Up, the Kowloon Walled City, a blight on the free enterprise zone or low-cost housing for the economically disadvantaged. We'll introduce you to some of the hard-working residents, how they live, and how they contribute to the growth and prosperity of our city. A montage sequence begins showcasing the destitute poor of Walled City going about their daily lives. The shots have been carefully chosen, showing only smiling and productive residents, a stark contrast to your own experience inside it. Many residents of Hong Kong regard the Walled City as a place of no return. To outsiders, it's the last stop on a long road of homelessness. Rumors abound of feral ghouls, unsafe living conditions, and triad extortions. Yet when you went there, the reality was far different. What we saw will shock you. Citizens of Hong Kong, working and living just like the rest of us. Their apartments are smaller and their shops more modest, but the people who live there wouldn't be out of place anywhere in the FEZ. Citizens like shoemaker Xiao Sang Sui. The scene cuts to an elderly man in a closet-sized stall filled with shoemaking equipment. He smiles broadly at the camera. Oh, I love it here. We have a community, you know. We're like family. Maybe we don't have as nice a view as they do in Repulse Bay, but I can't imagine living anywhere else. It's not paradise, no, but it's my home. I grew up here. How could I possibly leave? The camera shifts back to Sunny Chong, who now stands in front of one of the entrances to the Walled City. Contrary to popular opinion, the Walled City serves a vital function. The poor and downtrodden find a home in Walled City, a community where they have a voice, can work, and even prosper. Far from being the eyesore that the video suddenly stutters, freezes, and ends. Okay, I've decided to cut the rest of that crap. She keeps going on about what a good place the Walled City is, and how we all need it. Don't buy any of it. It may not be hell, but you can see it from there. Freedom Cowboy's just trying to get you in trouble. So how do you know the real story? Because I grew up there. You know what it's really like? It's eating old broth made from rat bones because there's nothing else. It's watching your neighbors sell their 5-year-old son to the organ leggers so they don't have to starve. When you die in the Walled City, your neighbors cheer because they'll get the clothes off your back. I wouldn't wish the Walled City on my worst enemy. Alright. So I spent a longer time thinking about than I originally planned to, but I can't help it. I like reading all that stuff. So next time we'll really truly get a job started.